So last weekend, my friends and I decided to bake a cake for our buddy Tim's surprise birthday party. None of us are exactly what you'd call proficient in the kitchen, unless you count microwaving ramen as culinary expertise, but we figured, how hard could it be? We found a recipe online, assembled our ingredients, and even put on those frilly aprons you see in sitcoms. Things were going surprisingly well, except for one thing. My friend Jess kept insisting that baking is basically just chemistry, which made me nervous because she once tried to make a volcano for her nephew and set off the fire alarm in 3 different apartments. The first hint that things were going off the rails was when Mark, our so-called mixing expert, dumped a cup of salt into the bowl and said, "Wow, this sugar looks chunkier than I remember." I glanced at the label, but he waved me off and said, "Trust the process." And because peer pressure is stronger than my sense of self-preservation, I shrugged and started cracking eggs like I was auditioning for a low-budget cooking show. We popped the cake in the oven and spent the next 45 minutes arguing about whether or not you're supposed to frost the cake while it's still hot. Spoiler alert, you're not. When the cake finally came out, it looked edible, in the same way that cardboard technically is. We slathered on enough frosting to make it look less like a salt lick and more like something a human might eat, then proudly presented it at the party. Tim took the first bite and immediately made a face like he'd just licked a battery. The rest of us, trying to be supportive, gamely tried forkfuls and suddenly understood what regret tastes like. It was so salty, it made the Dead Sea look like a low-sodium option. The real kicker, though, was when we left the half-eaten cake on the counter, hoping maybe the ants would at least get some enjoyment out of it. The next morning, we found a tiny piece of paper next to the cake, and on it, in what I swear was perfectly legible ant handwriting, it just said, "Please use Splenda."